Welcome back to the Rated R for Wrestling channel. Coming off last night's Friday Night SmackDown, let's dive into some of the news around the wrestling world. Steve Cutler was released from his WWE contract on Thursday, February 4th after returning from a long absence along with Wesley Blake joining Baron Corbin as the Knights of the Lone Wolf, but the storyline was dropped after 1 week on TV. It is now being reported that Cutler was released for contracting COVID-19 during a New Year's Eve party he was having with his girlfriend, Impact Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo, where both contracted the virus. McMahon, livid due to the careless nature of Cutler and promising talent like Roman Reigns they would work in a safe work environment, Cutler was released. Cutler is the first reported wrestler to be released due to contracting COVID. He is currently serving a 90-day do not compete clause. Seth Rollins, after returning at the 2021 Royal Rumble after being away during the birth of his child with fellow WWE superstar Becky Lynch, was absent from last night's SmackDown, officially announcing his return to SmackDown coming next Friday in a Twitter post from WWE. On the latest episode of the Grilling JR podcast, Ross talked about why Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan never faced off in a match when the two superstars were in the same company after Hogan's return from WCW. Ross would say, "It would have been interesting to see. You have two of the most amazing attractions in the history of pro wrestling, so I'm sure it would have been successful financially. However, artistically, maybe not so much." Austin never had the confidence that he and Hogan would have enough chemistry to live up to the hype. There's always been stories that Austin didn't like Hogan. He didn't want to work with Hogan, which is great for the internet gossip and chatter, but I just think the styles clash was more than Steve wanted to attempt. I don't think it had anything to do personally with Hogan. Steve's issue was just that he had a very high pace, intense, aggressive, somewhat snug, high pace. That just did not fit Hogan's style at the time because of his back issues. It would have been an interesting attraction, it would have been a great poster, a great promo, it would have made money, but I don't think the match had a chance in hell of living up to the hype of the two stars. WWE on last night's episode of SmackDown paid tribute to the late Butch Reed. Reed passed away Friday morning at the age of 66 due to heart complications after suffering 2 heart attacks last month. WWE is reported to be considering having Roman Reigns take on Brock Lesnar at this year's Wrestlemania, a match they can build the story around in many ways, especially with the involvement of Paul Heyman. If the match happens, it will be the 5th singles match between the two, with the most recent happening at WrestleMania 34. NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis in an interview revealed the reasons why he didn't join AEW or WWE. Even when I mentioned before that I had been offered to go to AEW and politely decline, it wasn't like I told them. Time I made the decision that I don't think it's the right thing to do right now because you have all these top guys and you have a sort of, and by you I mean Tony Khan, you have to present them first. You got Jericho, Cody, Kenny, and all the way down the line. You got all those guys. You don't need me, and my ego is not that big. The NWA needed me and I preferred it, and that's the truth. Not saying that I don't like them. Saying you like one thing doesn't mean you don't like the other thing. You can't have a company full of top guys because ultimately what happens is that some of them have to work in the middle of the card and some have to open. When you have a full roster of main eventers, someone's going to be unhappy, then fans are going to be unhappy, and then rumors start flowing, and then they get accused of burring so-and-so. I don't envy WWE for the position because they are the market leader with an incredible amount of money with revenue, so they can go out and get Bobby Roode, Cesaro, and those guys can work on top with the right booking. But you got Roman, so people claim they're wasting Cesaro. He's so underutilized and underrated, but look, he's getting paid, man, and there's only one spot available at the top. On Friday, it was announced that Parker Boudreaux would be quitting college football and signing a developmental contract with the WWE. Parker first made wrestling headlines after he received an endorsement from Paul Heyman and comparing him to a young Brock Lesnar. Matt Riddle wasted little time taking to Twitter to tease an eventual match between himself and the Brock Lesnar lookalike. That's the wrestling news for today. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.